The bulk of Lindbergh's ire, however, was reserved for the second group he mentioned, the Jews. It was understandable that Jewish Americans sought war against Germany, he claimed, because the persecution they suffered in Germany would be sufficient to make bitter enemies of any race. However, the Jewish groups in this country should realize that in the event of war, they will be among the first to feel its consequences. Jews themselves, he concluded, presented a unique danger to the country because of their large ownership and influence in our motion pictures, our press, our radio, and our government. Despite the alleged machinations of these groups, Lindbergh reserved hope that they might cease their efforts to push the United States toward war. If that could be managed, he continued, I believe there will be little danger of our involvement. Lindbergh's speech was covered by major papers and carried on page 2 of the New York Times the following morning. It quickly sparked a firestorm. Was Lindbergh blaming Jews for the outbreak of the war in Europe? Was he claiming that Jews were in control of the Roosevelt administration? These seemed very much like the same claims being made by Adolf Hitler and his fellow Nazis in Berlin. The comparison did not go overlooked. White House Press Secretary Stephen Early remarked that there was a striking similarity between Lindbergh's speech and recent outpourings from Berlin. New York City Mayor Fiorello LaGuardia was less sparing in his condemnation, calling the remarks a carbon copy of a Nazi paper. Jewish groups denounced the slurs and called on Lindbergh to retract the comments, similarly evoking comparisons to the anti-Semitism of the Nazis. The outrage spanned the mainstream political spectrum. Roosevelt's past and future Republican rivals for the presidency both denounced the remarks. His 1940 opponent, Wendell Willkie, proclaimed himself shocked by Lindbergh's bigotry. If the American people permit race prejudice to arrive at this critical moment, they little deserve to preserve democracy, Willkie remarked. Roosevelt's future opponent in 1944, Thomas Dewey, similarly told a Republican Party picnic that Lindbergh had committed an inexcusable abuse of the right of freedom of speech. When the religion or race of any individual or group is made a part of the discussion of domestic or foreign policy, that is a challenge to our freedoms, he continued. Faced with growing pressure from all corners, the America First Committee's leaders, who had not reviewed Lindbergh's speech prior to delivery, were forced to put out a statement asserting that the organization was not anti-Semitic and blaming the interventionists, those who sought to take the United States into the war, or, at a minimum, provide additional aid to the Allies, for inserting the race issue into the discussion of war or peace. The attacks on Lindbergh, they claimed, were simply a distraction from bigger issues. This half-hearted explanation did little to calm the controversy, with the New York Times noting in an editorial that the committee had not actually disowned Lindbergh's sentiments about Jewish Americans, and by not disowning them, it associates itself with them. What is being attacked is the tolerance and brotherhood without which our liberties will not survive. What is being exposed to derision and contempt is Americanism itself. Behind the scenes, however, the committee was seeing a grassroots outpouring of support that very much contradicted the stories being seen by readers of the Times. In the committee's mailroom, at least 85% of the letters being received were supportive of Lindbergh, in part because of the anti-Semitic undertones of his speech. Some messages were so extreme in their racist language that the committee did not see fit to even respond, but others came from regional leaders of their own organization and other paid-up members. Lindbergh was clearly far from being the only America First member to harbor such views about who was really responsible for the war. The emerging controversy between the respectable voices within the America First Committee's leadership, who saw the need to denounce Lindbergh, and the rank-and-file membership, was symptomatic of the wider divisions in the United States before Pearl Harbor. Lindbergh was just one of a wide range of figures who argued positions ranging from isolationism to the establishment of closer relations with Nazi Germany, and, in the most extreme cases, the adoption of Nazi policies in the United States. These groups and individuals often did not get along with one another. It was supposedly forbidden for a member of the German-American Bund